Peace and blessings. Thank you all for joining today. So, quick video. Now, I want to talk about biometric digital ID authentication and what it really means about what we're seeing right now in the current government and the current climate. Now, everybody understands that Elon Musk was appointed to a government administration before his scripted alleged split with Donald Trump. Now, he was placed into a government department of government efficiency or whatever, and his goal was promoted as making things efficient. But we can look back in retrospect that his purpose was being there to promote this digital governance using technology. He was the face of transhumanism. So all the litigation, all the policy has already been established. So ignore all the theatrics right now because that doesn't change the infrastructure that has already been laid via Project Stargate, Project Golden Dome, and all the massive bills and executive orders that have already been laid as law. So, as you see here in this image here, we have AI governance, we have computer brain interfaces. It's not a coincidence that Elon Musk is a transhumanist and he's promoting Neuralink, which is a brain chip or computer brain interface. Notice this terminology, put it into your memory. It'll be very uh, important later as we go on. So let's continue to move on a little bit. So let's go to here. So we see the United Nations, UN Digital ID. Now, digital ID is basically a collection of data that is the new identity that the world wants to promote that will connect every aspect of your life into one entity. And this entity will be controlled by a world governing corporation or whatever technology that they use. Blockchain, Web3, all going to be controlled by some government. And this will be used to either restrict or grant access based on your social credit or based on your compliance, conformity, and assimilation into this new system. And this is global. This was the true goal of what happened in 2020 through 2023. That crisis that was, promoted for whatever reason was used to bring in this application and this technology. Don't get distracted by the narratives and the rhetoric. That was all theatrics. The true goal was to bring digital ID to conglomerate all of your data into one place where if you don't meet the criteria that this government says that you need to meet, you can be restricted access. And this gives the perfect opportunity via the Great Reset to force everybody to requalify into a new system to see if you meet that. And they did the test pilot system when they said if you didn't, take certain procedures, your job might be at risk or you can't go in certain buildings. That was just conditioning the mind to accept this new paradigm. So let me read a few things here. It says the UN Digital ID is a transformative UN, here we go, solution, problem, reaction solution, Hegelian dialectic, that provides its workforce with a universal and easy to use system wide identity. Understand the word system. It's only applied within this digital system that they want you to do everything in your finances, your so called medical records, your biometric identity for national security interests. They're making this a central issue going forward under AI governance. And this is, I'm just going to quickly go through because I have a lot of things I want to share, but they're going to promote this as convenience, as a way of streamlining processes, making things more smooth and eliminating all the middleman. But they scripted it like that so that it can be promoted as, well, this is for peace and safety. This is to get rid of all the bureaucracy and all of the politics. But that politics was just laid through social engineering so that the people would be uh, the people that will be so spiritually dead to adopt and accept this at face value and not look at the micro agenda that's being promoted. This is why the media is controlled. Operation Mockingbird, control the flow of information, promote the rhetoric and narrative that you want, and spiritually dead, lost people will trust the government. This is not new. This goes back to 2001 incidences. Even prior to that, every crisis created the opportunity for more sovereignty, freedom, and rights to be removed and replaced with some technological uh, thing. For people to trust in the technology that's centralizing government power over your lives. Here's the World Economic Forum reimagining digital ID. It says, look at this, for centuries. So they're telling you how far this goes back. ID, a way for people to prove attributes about themselves. So now you have to qualify yourself to this entity. You cannot present yourself at face value. You must prove yourself. This is why your license and such expires every 3 years. They want you to requalify as the system. Their transhumanist systems evolve. They want you to requalify and create a barrier of entry that you can be denied if you don't go along with the flow, if you don't conform to the agenda. And they tell you it's played a pivotal role in society. Yet today, roughly 85 million people still lack legal ID. So they're using this. We are unbanked. You lack identification. We need to know who you are. We got crisis. We got national security, cyber threats, whatever. They're going to promote this as something that you must do for the safety of all. This whole public safety, public health, security, peace. It's always promoted with the same thing. And we know the Bible says when they say peace and safety, then comes sudden destruction. This is why, in the biblical worldview, we don't love the world or anything in it. We do not seek conformity with the world, friendship with the world, or fellowship with the unfruitful workers of darkness. Instead, by our faith in Christ, we come out of this. And we live in the world by our faith that expresses how we do everything in life uncompromised, still functional and productive, but not compromising our ontological view, being made in the image of God. Because this technology and these ideologies want to remove you away from the biblical image of God and push you into the image of their emerging beast system. I'm gonna try to put these links in the description box for you. So everybody knows about Agenda 2030, Sustainable Development, centralizing all power to a worldwide governing entity that's going to be one world government, one world economy, and a one world religion, all rolled up in one, where you must worship this system to participate in this economy. Controlled through AI, digital governance, controlled by Satanists. And this is Security 2040. They're telling you computer brain interfaces. So it's not shocking that they want someone like Elon Musk, who's a transhumanist, to be in control of what's efficient and using his technology and his application of technology to drive what they consider efficiency. We need to digitize your environment. That's 15-minute smart cities, smart technology, tracking, surveillance, even the military through this Golden Dome, this new Skynet. They're promoting this for missile defense, but just like the predictive programming in movies, is to control you. Remember, don't trust the world. They're not going to tell you the truth. So most people don't know about this, but this stuff is already out here. I could show you so much more, but I want to make this short. So here's a official U.S. government site, shape of things to come, the military benefits of brain computer interfaces 2040. So quickly, by 2040, advanced brain computer interfaces, BCIs, will provide the American warfighter with remarkable advantages. So they're using this to describe the warfare, which they want you to believe is some foreign enemy. And they don't realize there's only one warfare, and that's spiritual warfare, and it's against this beast government system against people who have an identity in Christ. That's the other war. That's the main warfare. Everything else is just collateral damage and an effect and a smoke screen. But they really want to give you this brain interface where you're running technology with your brain, with your mind. This is why they want control of your body, and they created crisis where your body must be turned over to experimentation so that we can assimilate you into what's going on in the government, basically. And they're of course, everything comes from a DARPA, DOD military application. I mean, we got the ARPANET, which came to internet. We got cell phones. They all come from government. So anything that the military is doing first is how they, structure it before it's made a commodity to the public at large. Now look at this. This is NIH. Optimum feature analysis for identification based on intracranial brain signals with machine learning algorithms. So I'm just going to read this quickly because it speaks for itself. Everybody knows that biometrics is a new thing, facial recognition, fingerprints, iris scans, but listen to this. Biometrics, i.e. fingerprints, the iris, the face, have widely been used to authenticate individuals. However, most biometrics are not cancelable, i.e., once these traditional biometrics are cloned or stolen, they cannot be replaced easily. So they're already saying, hey, those things are not reliable. That's a national security issue, a cyber security issue. We cannot rely on the traditional biometrics. So, unlike traditional biometrics, brain biometrics are extremely difficult to clone or forge due to the natural randomness across different individuals, which makes them ideal option for identity authentication. So they're telling you that we need to get access to your brain to be the only trustworthy, verifiable, authentic authentication method that they can trust. That's very dangerous indeed. And now we know why they have transhumanists, colluding in government agendas. So let's move on. Brain computer interfaces are coming. Will you be ready? This was in 2020, right around the you know what? Humans controlling machines with their minds may sound like something from a sci-fi movie, but it's becoming a reality through brain computer interfaces. They're already doing this. They already want the Oculus and people to have smart glasses and to embrace this technology. It's fun, it's entertaining. They're using celebrities and puppets to promote this technology to the children as breakthrough entertainment, etc. Even video games. I know people love video games, but video games were one of the first ways of conditioning the mind to live through a virtual world. It might seem innocent, but if you look at how it's made us adopt this technology, you understand and you can follow the patterns. They want to bring this and place it as part of everyday life. Understanding the emerging technology now can help ensure the effective policies are in place before BCI becomes a part of everyday life. They're telling you this. Rand Corporation is one of the main government corporations. They're the ones who have the Internet of Bodies, and we're going to talk about that, which are in the bills that all presidents have some form of the Internet of Bodies. Biden, Trump, they're all one party moving towards the same agenda within controlled opposition. Don't be fooled by the theatrics and different narratives and scripts. They all lead to the same thing as a dialectic. So let me keep moving. So we all are familiar with AI governance. That's Project Stargate, where they want all your world controlled by algorithms because they want to reduce your identity to data where they can more conveniently control you and restrict or grant access based on how your data conforms to their new parameters. This is this is why transhumanism is dangerous. It's just as dangerous as transgenderism because it's all further removing you away from the image of God and giving you identity that the world has total control over through social credit, through a dystopian nightmare. They want to verify your identity, prove your credentials, and qualify you to participate in society. And they're going to use AI to um, create counterfeit omnipresence or a ubiquitous nature, because they want to remove you into this digital spatial web where there's no borders, there's no traditional physical markers, and the whole world can be on one accord in a digital media platform. This is why Web3 and blockchain is going to be adopted by all governments, and it's already in play. It says advancing responsible impact AI adoptions. There's no way to make this responsible because they're trying to act like there's a framework of ethics that can qualify removing your identity away from God, and there isn't one. Of course, it's transforming industry, strengthening. They're promoting this to enhance governance and unlock innovation, but this is why we have the intentional sabotage of the current world system, economy, and government to be replaced by this digital AI governance, which is still controlled by the same Satanist. It's just going to be more efficient because they're going to have a wider reach to put their worldwide web net over you and control everything. This is why they want, weather modification to displace large amounts of people, remove property, to liquidate it through insurance companies. That the capital is going to have to be placed back in the system, and they're going to control through their centralized society who has access to housing, food, bank accounts, whatever. Turn your entire being into a programmable, trackable, tokenized currency based on how you move your body through space, particularly the digital space, where all your economic needs and transactions will be ledgered on a blockchain. All right. I talk about this. I don't need to really get too much in this. So here's DARPA. This is military, DARPA, DOD, N3 next generation non-surgical neurotechnology. So they have non-invasive ways of putting this around your brain to make it more um, palatable to people to accept. The next generation non-surgical neurotechnological program aims to develop high performance bidirectional brain machine interfaces to able bodied service members. Such interfaces will be enabling technology for diverse national security applications, such as control of unmanned aerial vehicles and active cyber defense systems. Remember, this is Stargate, and teaming with computer systems to successfully multitask during complex military missions. This is why we have wars and rumors of wars, because the war landscape is going to be so pervasive that they're going to justify why this needs to be pervasive. So it says, whereas the most effective state-of-the-art neural interfaces require surgery to implant electrodes into the brain, N3 technology would not require surgery and would be man-portable, thus making the technology accessible to a wider population of potential users. This is going beyond military application. Non-invasive neurotechnology such as the electrocephalogram, I can't say that, and transcranial direct current stimulation already exists. Again, this is not new. It's just being made public. So I just want to just broach this information to you to let you know where we're going. And here we are, the Internet of Bodies. I wish I can play the video, but I can't. So I'm just going to quickly give an overview. The Internet of Bodies is an actual ecosystem. It's a bunch of devices that are connected to the internet that contains software that is either collect personal health data about you or can alter the body's function. That's very scary. We think of the Internet of Bodies as a collection of these devices as well as the data that the devices are gathering about you. This is why we have the digitizing and tokenization of society. I'm going to talk about the tokenization of real estate, how they're changing how the housing industry and how that's going to be contingent to your social credit. Internet of Bodies has been around for quite a while. With the advent of the internet, it makes a lot of sense no, it doesn't, to connect your pacemaker to the internet. You don't want the internet or control of your heart to be something internet accessible. That's logical. But anyway, the whole idea is to bring this technology to make your body part and connected to the system that they control, and that they can limit and control your body functions and control your bank account and control everything about you. You know how your car has a kill switch? Well, they want to put one in you too. Tracking how the body works could change our lives. Now we know they're already doing this, right? They want to track everything about you. We know about Bill Gates' 060606 patent about turning your body activity data into a cryptocurrency. We're entering the era of Internet of Bodies, collecting our physical data via a range of devices that can be implanted, swallowed, or worn. And we see what brought in this thing. And I'm gonna quickly, for those who want to know about the 060606 US patent, I'll bring this out really fast so that people can know this is a real thing. This is by Bill Gates, Microsoft Inc. I want to put the receipt so people would know we're not making this stuff up. Give it a second. It's pretending like it has to do this, but it doesn't want me to show you what's going on here. So here we are, cryptocurrency system using body activity data. So we know why crypto was being promoted. The blockchain for the blockchain, the algorithm for blockchain was created by the NSA. I showed the US patent for it. So it is not surprising how it's going to be used through application. Let me show you who's this. There we go. Microsoft Technology Licensing LLC, One Microsoft Way, Redmond, Washington. That's where Mr. Gates is. And here you are, how they're going to get data on you and use your body activity data to turn it into a currency. So basically, how your body is moving through space will be a tokenized programmable currency that will either grant you access to move in society or restrict you. And this is going to be controlled by this cloud central network, of course, the world government beast system. And it's all there in black and white. It's not hard to understand at all. And I mean, there it is right there. They're telling you. Internet of Bodies, the new challenges of technology governance. You're now going to be governed by technology controlled by Satanists. So now they're going to make controlling you more efficient through ubiquitous, pervasive technology that will be in your homes. They want it to be in your bodies, and this is why we make this known so people cannot conform and comply to such evil. The Internet of Things is increasingly entangling with human bodies. Emergence and fast expansion of the Internet of Bodies, the network of human bodies and data through connected sensors, while offering enormous social and health benefits. That's how they're promoting it. Also raises new challenges of technological or technology governance. With an unprecedented number of sensors attached to, implanted within, ingested into the human body to monitor, analyze, and even modify human abilities and behaviors, human bodies and behaviors. Immediate actions are needed to address the ethical and legal considerations that come with Internet of Bodies. Now, keep in mind, this is already hardwired into legislation, and now they're talking about ethics after they already have this into policy. And they use this global crisis to create, look, I can't read this, but the urgency of such actions is further brought to the forefront by the global blank pandemic with extensive IOB technologies and data with with extensive technologies and data being enlisted for surveillance and tracking. So, there it is right there, y'all. This is by Sociable. WEF pushes Metaverse Digital ID to track and trace every interaction and transaction. Elon is using Twitter to turn into an everyday app for payment, kind of like set the precedence for what they want the government to be ran as an Apple store, where everything is subscription and you have to check your digital ID to get access to government things. And this is what they're doing. And Elon is being promoted as some kind of private sector technocrat, but he is very much involved in government to set the infrastructure and groundwork that is now being laid to control your life. This is why you put your faith in Christ and do not trust the world. You have to see your sin problem so that you won't be exploited and blinded by the coming deception. So when it comes to digital identity, there's no consensus, only collusion. There's no choice, only coercion and contradiction to confuse our cognition towards total control perspective. Well said. So discuss digital ID behavioral credentials in the metaverse. The true metaverse will be what's coming. This metaverse they promoted was just child's play. The true metaverse will be your real life, digitized through their systems, controlled. And they were just conditioning your mind to make it like fun, but it's not going to be fun at all. So I'm just laying down groundwork. This is my first time reading this, so I'm reading it in real time with you all. So if you want, I'll put the links in the description box, and you can check this for yourself. But I didn't want to make this a long video. And we know about the big beautiful bill, but they have a moratorium to um, not have any AI bans for 10 years, or basically AI will be allowed to run rogue for 10 years without any kind of modification or any kind of resistance. And of course, this is being promoted because they have Stargate, Golden Dome, all of this already in place. And now there's going to be no regulation on how pervasive and invasive this will become in your everyday life through the bill, right? So this is already it. And you got Project Stargate. We already know what this is, $500 billion, and Golden Dome and such right now, Skynet, that's going to be used against you. They're putting us in the dome, and they want you to believe this is for a national security issue. But read this stuff for yourself, figure it out. It's not hard to understand what's going on. So I thank you all for joining me here. And on this note, I am out of here. Peace and blessing.